Next we have Rebecca McIntosh. Rebecca is a childcare blogger and runs Daycare Decisions, a blog that draws inspiration from the childcare industry as well as being a return-to-work mother of 2 young children. She has a bachelor's degree in business, a master's of digital media from QUT and further study in career development. So want to land that top nanny job and brand your personal brand? Rebecca is here today to help you power up your nanny career.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Lovely. Thank you for having me along this afternoon. I'm in between you and your afternoon tea, so that's a very precious place to be. So I'm going to stimulate you. We do this with the students. I'm a career advisor at a university. I have been for the last 8 years. So just grab your ears and give them a little rub like that. That's it, from the top all the way down to the bottom. Give them a good massage. It really helps them focus before exams. Is it evidence-based? No, but it makes them feel better. That's kind of what we do. Okay. So today I'm going to talk to you about boosting your brand and talking about you yourself, because often we go out and we think, I want a job and I'm going to make myself fit into that job box. But today it's all about how can you define what you actually want and go out and search for that. So we might start with maybe the first couple of slides, couple of flicks through. So we'll go to my favourite quote: whoever gets a job is not the one who can do the job the best, but who knows how best to get the job. So it's all about the game. So you've seen someone who's landed a nanny job and you've gone, how did they get that? I am so much more experienced than that person. But it's how they play the game. So today we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about how you can play it. But in essence to it, it's actually about knowing your strengths and where you can go with that. So it's all about trust. Okay, can everyone get their mobile phone out, please? Very quickly, we don't have much time in this session. Issue 1 of trust. Okay, I'm going to get you to give that to the person sitting next to you, your mobile phone. And maybe we might ask that person to go and take it home. Yeah, go and take that mobile phone home. That's really good. Yeah. It's unlocking the secrets. Okay, give them back now. Give them back now. Relax, relax. Okay, it's lesson 1 in trust. Okay, that is just your mobile phone. For the people in the room that don't have children, imagine that is your child. Here you go. You're gonna hand it over to this person. You don't really know about them. You've read this A4 piece of paper. Maybe it's gone over to 2 pages, but essentially it's just one. You might have had a 10-minute phone catch up with them. Maybe an agency's done the screening for you. So essentially, they are a stranger to you. So they really want to trust you. So when you sit down and you write your resume and when you contact that parent, understand that they want to know you and they want to trust you. So sometimes a resume is very bland and very basic, and certainly with the graduates that we see, they're quite conservative. But as nannies, you've got a bit of flexibility and creativity because people want to know who you are. So I think the important thing is that you really need to expand on what is in the resume and really critically think about the content and say, would I look at that and would I be able to trust my child to that particular person on my resume? So you need to step away from yourself to be able to reflect at what skills you have. And employers, we're talking about parents, we're talking about agencies, they are looking at an investment. They are going to spend time. We heard from Rachel this morning who, you know, there's a transition time where the nanny gets to know the family, the child begins to trust the nanny. That takes time. That is an investment. So when people are looking for nannies and when people are looking for people to recruit, they are looking for low risk, high return. They're comparing resumes. They're lining up people who play the game and they're saying, okay, I'm going to look at the credibility rating on each of these. So essentially employers have got a credibility rating. They're saying, okay, do you have experience? How many years? Credibility. Do you have qualifications? Credibility. Where were those qualifications gained from? Are they a renowned organisation such as Donna's? A bit of a plug. So where are the references directly related to your most recent employer? We heard from the panel about the minimum standards the ANA have. So these are the sort of things that parents are essentially looking for, but they want more than that. So they're assessing your credibility, and that then gives them an idea that they may be able to trust you only in the first instance, because then they want to see you. Or maybe the first instance is a phone call. So how do you come across on the phone? When they phone you, what's the kind of message they're going to get? Is it going to go through to message bank? Are you going to pick it up when there's a child crying in the background? So really think about who you are and what you need to tell the world through these subliminal messages you are already sending out. When people look up your Facebook profile, what does the picture look like? If I'm a parent recruiting a nanny, I'm going to do some online stalking on you, by the way. So have a think about leveraging it. We're talking about a brand. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be seen? And what kind of platforms already have information about you out there? Because this stuff already exists probably. So next slide, please. So we essentially have to start, and echoing what the speakers have already talked about today, it's really how are you? So thinking about how are you feeling, because that is going to inform how you sort of are working in this process of searching for a job. We're going to talk about what makes you special, what do you want, and what is your strategy. So next slide, please. Filling up that cup. We talked about self-love, self-care, all of these sort of things. I won't bore you with any more of that information. Your cup is well and truly filled today by the sounds of it. The thing is that if you are feeling down, if you are in a situation where you are unhappy with the current family that you're in, where they have lowered your self-worth and made you feel that actually I don't have a lot of value in myself because they're telling me that they don't appreciate what I'm doing, that they keep nitpicking about this and that, then that will inform my positivity to go out and get something else. So I'm going to be feeling, oh, I won't put that in my resume. No, that's talking myself up a bit, and you'll play down and devalue your actual experience. So you have to be in a good place to get this going. You also have to be in a place where you're looking outwards and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to make this an outward strategy, and I'm going to really think about where I want to go and take control, rather than feeling that you're in a difficult position where you feel that there's nowhere for you to go, and that escaping is just going to be another bad role, and they probably won't value you either. So be in a good place to start. Okay, so next slide. You have to define what makes you special. So what makes you different? Look around the room. How are you different to the person sitting next to you? These are all the resumes. I'm recruiting in Melbourne. I may be from an agency. I may be a mum. You guys all apply. How am I going to tell a difference between you if you can't tell a difference yourself? So essentially you need to think about, okay, what's my position? Often I like to put it very simply as a career objective, where you say where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. And you might say, through a combination of my Certificate 3 and a background in art therapy, I bring a strong creative aspect to fun play with children, and I'm looking to apply this to a fantastic, warm, loving family, or something like that. So you very quickly, just very simply, package that all up and say where you're going. So if you're a big nature play advocate, you're going to have to find a family who is into that. Some parents see mud and they freak out. So if that doesn't align with your values, then that family won't work out for you. So essentially knowing who you are is a really good start point. Okay, so next slide, please. So knowing what you want. So once you've defined, okay, this is who I am, this is why I'm different, this is what makes me special, it's then, okay, what do I want? Where do I want to be? And we heard from Lauren earlier how she kind of defined where she wants to be. She's thinking about family daycare in the future. Okay, working back from that, I need to get business skills, I need to be self-employed. So she's kind of mapped out a little mud map. And so it's really thinking about what you want, what kind of family would be the penultimate family for you. And in marketing, it's kind of talked about as customer profiling. Basically, if you were a very cool brand like a shampoo, you'd be saying, okay, who is the person who would buy this shampoo? What do they look like? And the marketers sit away in their office tweeting on social media going, oh, what would Barbara think of this? Because they have this actual picture of Barbara, and then they have Barbara works 9 till 5 in a busy corporate environment in the city, and on the weekend she likes to do crocheting and whatever. marketers actually do this stuff. It can be a really helpful process for you to think about, okay, who is a family that I want to be in? Okay, where are their circles? Where do they live? How can I get myself into those circles? How can I find myself in that place? And what do they expect when they're reading my resume? What's their expectations in terms of what skills I have, what experience, and how I put that out? You know, some people, when they see typos, when they see it in American English, these little things can really tick people off. So if you are going for the high-end client, then your resume needs to be high-end too. So that reflection has to happen. Okay, next slide. So thinking about a strategy, and everyone's like, oh, what, actual strategy? Thinking about it, because you've got two options. You can go passive, and you can wait for the jobs to come to you. And the Committee for Economic Development said in the next 10 to 15 years, 40% of jobs will be automated. So, and you know what won't be automated? Is childcare. Yay, you're in a really good spot. So it's going to mean that there's a lot of changes out there. So the changes will happen and will be affected in the people that you're working for, and maybe in the opportunities that it affords you, in that being self-employed, having access, people have access to accountancy software, you know, you don't have to work from home, internet access, all these things have been made available, and it's kind of changing the landscape. So thinking of a strategy, so knowing who you are, knowing where you want to go, then you have to build the kind of bridge. So normally you're on your own island and it's very comfortable there and you have a great old time and you only socialise with your friends, and then occasionally you go to cool events like this one, and then you're kind of opening up, you know, you're taking the ferry. Today is you taking a ferry to another place, building on your professional development, and that's essentially what you have to do in getting that strategy. And you're saying, okay, what do I have now? Am I meeting industry expectations? Would a high-end corporate person that I really want to work for, would they employ me today? And if I'm thinking that there's a gap, then there are probably steps that I need to do in between, and maybe I'll go out and talk to those people and find out what those things are. Okay, so next slide. So knowing who is looking for you, making that connection, you can make that really explicit. What do they want? So we heard a little bit about the mum on the panel today saying what her expectations are, going with gut. Gut doesn't get you shortlisted, resumes do. So in that first instance where you are only being judged on paper, you need to put the effort into that bit of material. But you've got to think of building a strategy on top of that. If the mum's left a phone number, if the parent or recruiting have got a phone number, phone them up and say, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm really interested in this role. Your family sounds fantastic. I've got a background in this, this, and this. I'm really looking forward to sending my application today. I just wanted to touch base with you. That is a strategy that's separating you from everyone else. So you can think about being super creative and going, okay, I want to work for a high-end corporate client. I'm going to go to a banking, I'm going to go to HSBC in the city. I'm going to contact their HR and go, hey, here I am. Maybe I'm going to go to a relocation service that are relocating people from overseas, and I'm going to connect with that service and say, look at me, this is how much I charge per hour. So knowing who you are will be able to get you in the position to go out and chase that stuff. Or you could just do passive stuff and wait for it to come to you. But this is the active stuff where you have to get moving. Okay, next slide. So the moment that you start to wonder if you deserve better, you definitely do. So I'll just finish on that note today, and I hope that I've made you a little bit motivated to get active. And Lauren's kind of working in this space at the moment with the stuff that she's doing and motivating you, but I would like you to just pop on over. I blog about childcare on Daycare Decisions, so if you go to daycaredecisions.com.au/ANA, the kind of show notes are on this, where I've talk about it in a little bit more detail if you find that this was a little bit rushed. Thank you for your time, everyone.